A man lying on the ground, blood dripping from his mouth, and standing in front of him is another man with zero emotion in his eyes, cold, calculated, like he's swatting a mosquito. That's how casually he pulls the trigger. The location is the Philippines, and the man who just died worked inside an online gambling organization. Why was he killed? Because he tried to run. But this murder isn't just a murder. It's the start of a chain that's about to shake up the entire South Korean police department. A mother's suicide, a cryptocurrency scam, and a detective who's about to risk everything to bring down the whole syndicate. Trust me, if you stay till the end, today's story is going to completely mess with your head. Intro. Hello friends, welcome to Red. Today, we're diving into a story that's going to blow your mind. A casino syndicate, a crypto scam, and one detective's relentless obsession. This video is packed with non-stop tension from start to finish. So, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Scene 1. The dark world of the Philippines. The Philippines, beautiful on the surface, beaches, sunsets, tourist spots, but underneath all that beauty runs a whole dark industry, online gambling. People sitting at home betting through their phones, while behind the scenes, an organized crime syndicate runs the entire system. One of the biggest names in this syndicate is Bae Chong-gi. This guy used to be a Korean Special Forces soldier, so you already know, physically, this man is dangerous on another level. After leaving the army, he moved into the online gambling world, and now he's the head of an entire organization. Zero morality in this man. For him, only two things matter: profit and control. Anyone who gets in his way gets removed. One such person was Jo Sung-jae. This guy worked under Bae, but at some point he got scared. He realized that staying in this business meant he was risking his life, so he made a plan to escape. But escaping from someone like Bae isn't that easy. When Joe tries to run, he gets caught and executed without mercy. That's the exact scene we opened with. So the question is, does the killing stop here? No, friends. This is only the beginning.
Now let's talk about another character, Chong Dong-chol. This man is the administrator of a casino operation, meaning a huge chunk of this entire online gambling network runs through him. But Chong has a business problem: competition. There's a rival casino out there stealing his customers. So Chong strikes a deal with Bae. He says, if you shut down that rival casino, bring all their customers over to me, I'll increase your profit share. Sounds like a simple business deal, right? But in this world, shutting down doesn't mean anything peaceful. It means violence. Bae and his men launch a direct assault on the rival casino. They break into the server room, destroy the entire system, and most importantly, steal all the member data, meaning the information of every single customer. It's a fully organized attack, executed with almost military-level precision. But here's the twist. Even after Bae completes the job, Chong doesn't keep his promise. No increased profit share. And a man who's army-trained, who has zero patience built into him, realizes he's been played. What do you think happens next? Bae gets on a plane straight back to South Korea to confront Chong face to face. And friends, this is where the real game begins. Scene 3. Enter Detective Ma Sak-do. Now let's meet the actual hero of this story, Detective Ma Sak-do. He's a serious, dedicated police officer investigating a case of online money laundering. And while digging through it, a name pops up: Jo Sung-jae, the same guy who was killed in the Philippines. When Ma finds out how brutally Joe died, something clicks. This isn't a simple money laundering case. There's something much bigger going on. Joe's body gets sent back to South Korea, and Ma personally reads the autopsy report. And reading that report sends chills down his spine. Because the way this kid was tortured and killed, that's not the work of some random criminal. This is professional work. Whoever did this has serious experience. Ma realizes this case runs much deeper than he thought. But here comes the most emotional, heartbreaking part.
Joe's mother, completely broken from grief, comes to Ma, hands folded, begging, "Please get justice for my son." Ma promises her he'll look into it, but just days later, news comes in that changes the entire direction of the case. Joe's mother, unable to bear the loss of her son, takes her own life. Hearing this news, something breaks inside Ma. This is no longer just a case, it's personal now. He makes up his mind, whoever's behind this chain of crime, he's not letting them go. Scene 4, the cyber team in the first arrest. Ma now joins his department's cyber investigation team because this case isn't just street-level crime, it's tied to the digital world, money laundering, data backups, cloud storage, a whole complex technical network. The team starts digging through Joe's employment history, where he worked, who he was in contact with, which server his data was backed up on. Tracing all of it leads them to a place that turns out to be a money laundering front. This is where dirty gambling money was cleaned to look legal. The police raid this place and arrest its manager, Choi Yu-sung. It's their first major break. But interrogating Choi, Ma realizes this isn't some small-time racket. This is a fully organized online gambling ring with roots running deep. To understand a network this massive, Ma needs someone who knows the industry from the inside. So he reaches out to Jang Yi-soo, a guy who was once in the online gambling business himself. Basically, poacher turned, well, informant.
Jang sits Ma down and lays out the whole picture. He reveals that his own establishment was once raided. By who, you ask? Emperor's Casino. Remember this name, friends, because it's the biggest name in this entire syndicate. Emperor's Casino wants to monopolize the entire online gambling industry, meaning they don't want any competition. Any casino that gets in their way gets either absorbed or completely wiped out, and that's exactly what Beck had been doing. Remember, the ex-Special Forces guy. Now everything starts connecting. Jo Sung-jae, who died, worked under Beck. Choi, who got arrested, was tied to the money laundering side, and sitting at the top of this entire chain is Emperor's Casino. But there's one more twist left. This isn't just about a casino. There's an even bigger game running behind it. Scene 6, the new cryptocurrency plan. Meanwhile, Beck meets Chong Dong-chol at his completely isolated, secluded villa. This is where Chong reveals his real plan. Just running a casino isn't enough profit anymore, so Chong has cooked up a new scheme, a cryptocurrency scheme. This scheme is called QM Holdings, and its public face is a man named President Kwon. So from the outside, it looks like a totally legitimate investment company, but underneath, it's actually a machine to launder Emperor's Casino's dirty money and grow it even bigger. And now, Chong wants to get it listed on an official crypto exchange, meaning once it's listed, it becomes fully legal, and thousands of regular people will pour money into it with no idea it's actually a scam. Chong tells Beck to go along with a man named Ko to bribe an exchange representative, so they'll agree to list QM Holdings. And this is exactly where we see Beck's true nature. This man has zero patience. Getting irritated, for no real reason, he kills Ko. Then he goes straight to the representative and threatens him, forcing him into accepting the bribe out of fear. Watching this, it becomes clear, Beck is no longer under anyone's control. He's doing things his own way now, and that's a massive red flag for his bosses. Scene 7, the game of betrayal. Beck doesn't stop there. He starts thinking, what if Choi, who's now in police custody, decides to talk? He'd be exposed. So without taking any chances, he kills Choi too, making sure he can never become a witness against him. It's a risky move, but for Beck, this is just normal. Human life means nothing to him. Only his own safety and profit matter. But Chong, who had been using Beck all this while, starts getting nervous because Beck is slipping out of his control and what he's doing is becoming dangerous for the whole organization. So Chong makes a decision that changes the entire direction of the story. He orders President Kwon. Beck needs to be eliminated, meaning the same man who's been doing all the dirty work is now the target himself. A new cycle of betrayal begins here. The question is, Who's gonna strike first?
On the other side, Ma and his team figure out that QM Holdings is directly connected to Emperor's Casino. They decide to crash the cryptocurrency launch event to gather solid evidence. But this wasn't going to be easy. The moment Ma tries to get into the event, Beck and his men ambush him. An intense action sequence kicks off, Ma fighting off multiple attackers alone. He manages to subdue one of them, but Beck escapes, and while fleeing, he drives so recklessly that he ends up injuring an innocent civilian. After this incident, pressure builds inside the police department. It hits the media, higher-ups start asking questions. How, after running such a massive operation, has nothing been caught yet? Furious, the police chief makes the call. Ma's team is getting disbanded. Basically, an order comes down to shut the entire investigation. This is the biggest blow for Ma. After all that hard work, all those clues gathered, and now it's all getting shut down? But Ma refuses to give up. Scene 9, the last chance. Ma goes straight to the police agency commissioner. He doesn't beg, he lays out the logic, how massive this case actually is, and how many more people will fall victim to this scam if they stop now. Seeing his determination and the evidence, the commissioner agrees and gives the team permission to continue. Now, Jiang and Ma come up with a brilliant plan, a fake casino operation. Basically, they set up a completely fake casino as a trap, hoping Emperor's Casino's people will get greedy and try to raid it, and right at that moment, they get caught. It's a high-risk sting operation, where one small mistake could put the whole team's lives at risk. But it doesn't stop there, friends. This plan gets backed by another major force, the Philippine National Police, meaning this is no longer confined to South Korea. It's now become an international operation. Scene 10, the server raid. Police from both countries team up and launch a coordinated operation, striking directly at Emperor's Casino's server. After seizing the server, they start digging through the data, and that's where they find the biggest piece of evidence. QM Holdings is directly linked to Emperor's Casino. This is the missing link they'd been chasing all this time. Now the entire picture is clear. This isn't just a casino scam, it's a massive, organized network running gambling, money laundering, and cryptocurrency fraud all together. And on one end of this chain sits Chang, and on the other, Beck. But between the two of them, trust doesn't exist anymore either. Scene 11, the game flips. Now comes the biggest twist of the entire story. Beck, who knows Chang is planning to remove him, decides to make the first move. He reaches out to President Kwan, the same man Chang had ordered to eliminate Beck, but Beck flips the script and pulls Kwan over to his side instead. Together, they hatch a conspiracy. The plan: steal Chang's admin key, which would give them full control over both QM Holdings and Emperor's Casino, and then remove Chang completely. With Kwan's help, Beck deceives Chang, earns his trust, and then coldly kills him. This man, who spent years using everyone else to build his empire, ends up getting killed by his own most trusted weapon. But the story isn't over yet, friends. Scene 12, the final betrayal. After killing Chang, Beck takes all the server data stored in the villa for himself. His plan is to take this data, flee the country, and rebuild his gambling ring somewhere overseas, and everything else, the money, the remaining assets, he leaves behind for Kwan. But is this really a fair deal, or is this yet another betrayal in disguise? Kwan is still there in the villa, gathering up the money, completely unaware of what's waiting for him outside. Right at that moment, the police storm the villa. The entire operation gets executed at the exact moment Kwan hasn't even finished collecting the money. This is the moment where months of investigation finally reaches its climax.
And now comes the moment the entire story was building toward. Ma Sak-do comes face to face with Baek. A brutal, raw, physical fight breaks out between them. An ex-Special Forces soldier versus one determined detective. Every punch, every hit lands with weight here. Baek fights with all his training, all his brutality, but Ma has something else on his side, his sheer stubbornness and a burning drive for justice. The image of that grieving mother who lost her son and then took her own life seems to fuel every single blow he lands. In the end, Ma wins the fight. He subdues Bake and places him under arrest. The mastermind of this terrifying syndicate, the man who played with so many lives, now stands there in handcuffs. Scene 14. One last twist. And right at the very end, there's one small but funny twist. Young Isu, who helped Ma throughout the entire operation, ends up getting arrested too. Why? He'd been flashing around a fake police badge, one that Ma himself had given him for the operation. But Yang had been using it to stroke his own ego, and that ends up backfiring on him. And that's how this dangerous, complex, multi-layered crime syndicate story comes to an end. A simple incident that started at a casino ends up spiraling into cryptocurrency fraud, an international operation, and one betrayal after another. That was today's story. ভিডিওটি ভালো লাগলে অবশ্যই লাইক, কমেন্ট এবং সাবস্ক্রাইব করবেন। বাই বাই।